Hey, welcome to the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin. I'm really excited about my guest today because not only is he an awesome guy, he's actually a personal friend of mine. So that's a really important thing for me. So he's the president and CEO of United Way of Madison County. He's got 4 kids. He's been married for a long time for an awesome lady. He's truly a servant leader. That's one of the biggest parts I wanted to have him on for. He goes out of his way to help other people in the community and just in his zone of friends and all that. He's just someone you need to know. And he's number 25 in your program, but number 1 in your heart. Mr. Daniel Kasambira, thanks for coming on, Daniel.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe, and I appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this. And I'm glad our friendship spanned over years now, and it's important because I value relationships and value friendship, and knowing that you doing something like the podcast uh, could happen to a better person. You're just a family, great family, just doing great things in our community, and I'm honored to be a part of this.
I appreciate you. Hey, man, the honor's mine. So I appreciate it. One great thing about you is you're very intentional about I just made up a new word, intentional. Don't use that one. Intentional about staying in touch with people and just keeping that relationship going. I really appreciate what you've done over the years. So, first of all, how many people butcher your name?
Besides myself, about 20 people a day. No, it's gotten better. I always tell people that I learned how to say my name properly about when I was 12 years old. But outside of that, I understand as long as they don't call me late for dinner or some other names, I'm okay.
I'm with you. Yeah. See, I'm a Joe Martin, so I've had it pretty easy. But I can barely pronounce my own podcast name though, so I'm with you on that. So I haven't had it 12 years, so I'm on a ramp. But maybe 12 years I got it down. So I like to kind of figure out people's background. So where did you grow up, and what kind of kid were you growing up? What were you into?
Well, I'm originally born in Zimbabwe, Africa. I came over to the States when I was 2.5. My parents came over and brought us over to the States. And my dad ended up getting his doctorate degree and master's doctorate degree at Case Western Reserve and University of Michigan. And then also my mom ended up getting 2 master's degrees and was a pastor for 13 years. So I consider when we grew up and came to Cleveland, Ohio, and then lived there for several years, but I consider home Mansfield, Pennsylvania, which is near Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is where the home of the Little League World Series. So that's how people know that place. And spent several great years there. My dad was a college professor at Mansfield University, and so I consider that home. But then we went up to Canton, Pennsylvania. Mom was a pastor of 3 churches during my high school time. And as Joe, when you talked earlier about relationships and friendships and learning how to be intentional about keeping in contact with people, I've been blessed, my life. My parents always stressed that to me, that get to know people, get to be comfortable with people, make sure they understand the importance of friendships going to last a long time. And I was blessed when I first moved to Mansfield when I was 4 years old. And we don't do this anymore, I don't think, but a family, the Wilson family came down to our house. In the town we're in, there wasn't, outside of college students, there wasn't many African Americans living in town at the time. And they came down. I never met them before. Eddie came in, where they came with a plate of cookies, and their family introduced themselves to me. Eddie Wilson and I have been friends since that day in 1972. And just to have people like that in your life. Mr. Wilson, rest in peace, he passed away a little over a year ago. And he's the one who put the basketball in my hand first time. He's a coach at the university and put the basketball in my hands, taught me how to play the game and the right way. And I was just fortunate. And we had a lot of great battles with Nerf basketball in the house and playing with socks and basketball in the doors. And but just got to play a lot of leagues and a lot of camps. And it was just a great experience growing up. And I'll never forget also things that they don't do these days. Mrs. Gretchen Goodman is her name now, but it was Gretchen Stopper at the time. And she's my first kindergarten teacher. And she took a young kid, first kindergarten teacher, and take me home on weekends and spend quality time with me. And Mr. Stoppy's playing in softball leagues and things like that, where I understand value relationships and people have impacted my life throughout. And so to have this and be able to share where I grew up, and moving on to Canton, Pennsylvania, where I had great coaches and people that impacted my life. And it's just I've been fortunate and blessed, Joe.
Oh, that's awesome. And you can open up a lot of doors with a plate of cookies, can't you?
Oh yes, it's amazing. And Mr. Wilson has the great best cookies in the world, and the chocolate chip cookies were open up a lot of doors. And I would say that things like that go a long way. You never forget those things. You never forget the people in your lives that impacted you significantly.
Oh, absolutely, man. I thought you were an impressive guy, but hearing about your parents, man, no wonder you're so successful. You had no choice.
Yeah, they were, unfortunately, both of them are deceased now, but I'm able to carry their spirits on and things. But they're both had high expectations. I would say my dad was a college professor, education was very, very important, and my mom was a pastor, so doing things the right way was expected. And of course, all of us don't always go the right direction, but they stressed the importance of that because we understood that when we talk about having a name. I always emphasize that Kasambira. I'm representing the Kasambira name and everything I do and everything I say, and it comes back to you.
Oh, that's an awesome way to look at it right there.
Mhm.
And there's no way to hide either. So I grew up with two redheaded brothers. So if one of us got in trouble in the neighborhood, it was one of them redheaded Martin kids. So you know, yeah,
You never got in
don't my
trouble,
brothers
Joe.
got me in trouble and I got them in trouble. So you can't get away with nothing, right? And no one else
Yeah.
has your last name in the neighborhood too. So
No, not at all. Not at all.
so you mentioned basketball a little bit. So you actually got the opportunity to go on and play at the next level in college basketball at Rochester Wesleyan in Rochester, New York. So we kind of laughed about this a little bit before. Tell people kind of about how the recruiting process went for you.
Well, I was fortunate to play in Canton, Pennsylvania, where we had some great coaches. I had Denny Perry, who was at my sophomore year, pulled me up to varsity. Had the opportunity to play for him, and thought enough of me to play varsity. But going back to even seventh grader, Mr. Wenzel and Hope Stair, and just people like that, Mr. Sutton, that were my coaches that impacted. You know, Joe, playing sports, coaches impact your life in so many different ways. And then got into 10th grade where Mr. Thorne helped me and taught me the game of basketball. And there's a lot of people along the way that really impacted my life. And when I get to 11th and 12th grade, Coach Dave McWilliams and Coach Ron Kirby were instrumental in taking me to the next level and putting pressure on me to say, hey, you've got more to offer than just coming in and shooting jump shots, and you got to play defense. And it was great experience I had with them. Had the opportunity to play a lot of basketball camps, a lot of great players. And but I look back on those times and the little things, the details, the fundamentals that were taught. And I used to have a routine, and for an hour and a half every day, I had a certain things I had to accomplish. I would call them 24 in 30 seconds. I had different drills I did, quickness drills, ball handling drills, shooting drills, and things like that, which it was as in I thought relentless positivity, relentless in doing that. And it's something that important and led me to get some looks in high school level. Played at a small high school, so depending on who was catching you right time, and fortunately played pretty well at some all-star games and got my name known. And in my first year I played at Mansfield University, which is a Division II school, and Coach Wilson was actually my coach. And talk about being hard on me, man. He was rough, but go through experiences of feeling like you're the worst player on the team. We had a lot of players. Brian White, I think about, who was at the time he led Division II in rebounding in the country. Just a tough ball player. Had shooting guards that were 6'5", 6'6", and point guards that played in front of me, which was 6'2", 6'3", and I'm only 5'5", 9.5" on a good day. And but it was just seeing those experiences where I got to play against a lot of key players, a lot of coaches I got to play against as well. I don't know if you've heard John Chaney, was coach Temple.
Oh
He was a
yeah.
Chaney State coach at the time, and saw him go crazy in that Division II level. And matriculate. Then I saw Coach John Beeline, Coach Lemoyne. He ended up going on coaching Michigan and then in the NBA for a while, and West Virginia coach all over the place. And just to get those experiences, coaches operate and work. And then Roberts Wesleyan College. I remember the Hare family, who were Roberts Wesleyan College alumni, and they said, you need to come take a look at this school. Hadn't thought about after school, but no, my freshman year, I wanted to get some more playing time. So I went to Roberts Wesleyan College and got out great experience there. Met some of my best friends and ended up playing there for 3 years. And I was a starter there and was able to play point guard and shooting guard. But I always loved to shoot the basketball, and it paid off for me. So, and I ultimately got a degree from Roberts Wesleyan and some great friends who I still keep in contact with.
And that's the end goal, right? Basketball is just a tool to get there, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
man, John Chaney, his eyes could bug out better than anybody I've ever seen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man, he had impressed. He had a next level eye. So,
Yes, he
um,
did. He
I know
did.
for me, I learned a ton of lessons that I still apply to this day from sports. What's some lessons you picked up along the way? I know you talked about your routine and your habits. That's a huge one. I'm sure you use, but what
Yeah.
else?
Discipline. The importance of knowing that there's a team that you work along with, and I think about my son Isaiah, who's kind of the comedian of the family, and I remember when because you teach your kids the same thing, about the importance of team, and my oldest son Jamal said to him, we were at dinner from one of my birthday dinners, and said to Isaiah, understand the importance that there's no I in team. We all work together as a family and all work as a team. And he said, yeah, but there's two I's in Isaiah. so, so that's typical. But I learned the importance of just teamwork and leading, because as a point guard, you got to get everyone involved, find where the strengths are, and put them in a position to be successful. Then also I learned, as far as in basketball, the importance of uh, when challenges come your way, how are you going to respond to those challenges? Are you going to, wilter, and are you going to, are you going to stand up and say, hey, listen, this is a challenge I need to overcome, and what are you going to do to get better? And so those things I learned, but I also learned importance for me is that it's, I was blessed, I had one or two injuries my whole career. So by the grace of God, he continued to help me, health, importance of that. And so I've learned a lot of great lessons playing basketball. Understand you got to be coachable, and to be, want other to be coachable, but you need to be coached for yourself. And so I learned a lot of great lessons from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen you in like a group setting, a meeting setting, and you definitely run things like a point guard. You want to make sure everyone's involved. You still use that today. I've seen it in action. He's not
I
lying. He's
appreciate
still a
it.
point guard to this day. So,
I appreciate
um,
it.
so you majored in social work. So clearly you've kind of had this, this want and this need to help others. Where does that drive come from?
Well, first of all, as I said, my parents, my dad was actually a sociology and social work professor, and my mom with a giving heart and spirit. That was something that was important, and it was told to all our siblings, and all my siblings, and it was something that was important. Um, just want to make a difference, and that's something that I believe that it's important, that it doesn't cost anything to smile, doesn't cost anything to give a person a encouraging word, doesn't cost anything to really serve, just maybe just your time. And if I can get an opportunity to be able to do that and make a difference in people's lives, that's something that's important to me, and the people I'm around. And so that's why I wanted the social work, because I wanted to make a difference. And I look at the just lasting things my parents taught me. I remember my father was I was my best teacher, because at college level, I take some of his classes my freshman year, but I'll never forget a time, because my mom was going to seminary, so we go down and visit her on the weekends, and my sister on the weekends. And I'll never forget, we lived in an apartment off campus, and we would, he'd go to class, and being where we were at in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, it was cold sometimes a year. And uh, I remember my first 8 o'clock class, I had my father. And so we go out to the car, and I'm standing out the car waiting for him to go to class. I said, what are you doing? So we're going to class together. He said, understand something, son. I'm not always going to be here. I'm your professor. You're my student. Don't be late for class. And just took off. So I had to run about a mile and a half up the hill and to make it in class on time. And people were wondering, why the heck are you not riding with your father? And he was teaching me a lesson that understand that you're going to be on your own someday, son. And we're there for you and teach you the importance of being on for yourself. And you drive past me, I would go up this hill, and you drive right by me and get to class. And but the best instructor I've ever
Man, that's so tough to do as a parent, but so important to watch your
had.
kids struggle and learn lessons. But oh man,
Yes.
I'd have gave in. I'm afraid I'm soft, man. I'd probably
But
not make it.
that,
So we met years ago because we're on this board trying to help solve the youth obesity crisis that's going on. And I know you serve and you currently serve on so many boards in the community. So the community is huge in your life. What are some action steps people can take to improve their own community? Everyone kind of gets overwhelmed about the big picture, but what's some things they could do to improve their own communities?
well, I know Lauren Trailer, when I came here, moved here from Birmingham, Alabama, Lauren Trailer told me, and I said, I want to be involved in the community. She said, careful what you ask for. And at the time, she was Big Brothers Big Sisters of North Alabama board chair. And she said, because once you get in this community, there's going to be plenty of opportunities, and people are going to pull you from different ways. And I said, well, I'm involved. And lo and behold, she was right. And which opened up so many doors and so many opportunities. A person like Nancy Stewart, when I was the campaign pacer chair, asked me to be a campaign pacer chair for United Way when I was with Alabama A&M. And she said she introduced me to a lot of different people. And I owe a debt of gratitude to people like her, who had opened up the doors and got to meet Mayor Battle back then and other key leaders in the community, and was instrumental. So I believe the importance of getting involved in service. All you do is basically raise your hand in this community, and there people can find where you can fit in. I always talk about having, the 5 R's of getting involved with communities and volunteering. You have a reason, which is purpose. Use the resources that you have available to you. And these days, you can go on a computer and find so many opportunities to be involved, but also great resources in the community. So many great nonprofit leaders that are always looking for people to be serve on boards and serve in different capacities. And then you have, the relationships, which are instrumental, because relationships will get you a lot of places that you don't understand you coming in for, but opens up a world of opportunities for you. And then the 4th R is results that you show, and you'll see some results personally as well as professionally. And then last R is recognition. Truly get recognized for the work you're doing, and get recognized in our community for all the things that you're doing, and whether you believe it or you see it or not. So I encourage anybody. United Way, we're always looking for volunteers to be a part of the things that we do here, whether sitting on a community impact team where you're directly involved with the process of working with our partner agencies, board opportunities that come open once a year. There's opportunities to be able to volunteer with one of our 27 partner agencies, such as Manor House, Boys and Girls Club, Big Brother Big Sisters, the YMCA where I came from. There's so many different opportunities out there to be a part of something great. And it's great to see things like our Youth Leadership Council so there's opportunities for young people. Our Youth Leadership Council and Stuart Senior and Catherine Frazier do a fantastic job with working with our young people, and just to see them get firsthand experience of how they can make a difference in the community. They raise money, they go out in the community to serve, they have their own group, they have their own social media. They just do a fantastic job with some of our young leaders, and hopefully impart in them the parts of volunteering, giving back, and success continue to happen. So there's plenty of opportunities to be involved and get connected.
Absolutely. So you've been in this game for a while. So you've been in the nonprofit space for 20 plus years, and
Oh,
United, you know what, United Way's been around forever, and people been around. You said that it's going to be in August of this year. It'll be 80 years here in the Madison County area, and we kind of talked about before that sometimes if things been around so long, people kind of, I don't know if they don't appreciate them as much. They don't realize everything that you guys do. Can I give us a brief overview what exactly United Way does and how they can get involved?
we'll do it. And one of the things I challenged the staff and board when I got here, I've been here since April of 2022, is United Way needs to be emphasizing being relevant. We do great work in our community. We've been here 79 plus years. But what are we doing to make an impact in our community directly? So we have 27 partner agencies that service the gamut from, preschool, from birth to old age. We have people that provide counseling services. We have people that provide a lot of different areas that make a difference. But one of the things we understand is our 3 focus areas: education, financial stability, and health. And with education, we have some of our partner agencies that serve in those areas. We have financial stability, same thing in health. But we've committed ourselves, and we're a part of the standard, which is our strategic plan, to really impact the issues and needs in our community. With education, working with Huntsville City Schools, we're in the process of putting together a game plan for the ACAP, to increase ACAP scores, because there's some challenges in some of our school systems and our students. We need to be a key organization to make those things happen. So working with Christopher Finley and Christopher Gregory, who's chair of the DAC in that area. With financial stability, with workforce development, affordable housing, we're excited about potentially having a summit that's going to happen at the end of March for affordable housing, which got some names, and we're putting that together. And then with workforce development, those don't realize that we have a Ride United program, which is top 5 in the country. And what that is, it's a program in which we were honored to get started a couple years ago, in which we provide people transportation to and from work for short and long-term basis, if they can't afford it. And we're the first United Way across the country to really have local funding to support this. So we've got Toyota to give us funding, Redstone Federal Credit Union, BASF, Blue Cross Blue Shield, which all provide funding to help supply these rides and things like that for people to whether work, whether to medical appointments, uh, who was before grocery stores during the pandemic. And we've given over close to 17,000 rides now, and we're really just making a difference in that area. And then with health, the mental health piece, as you know, Joe, being in, we talked earlier about the pandemic, it's something that impacted a lot of us. And when you talk about physical, which you do great work in with your adventure boot camp and with the physical part of it, and you've got a strong showing our community make a difference in a lot of people's lives, Joe, and you just do great work with that. Well, also mental health is something that is impacted everybody from CEOs to middle managers to rocket scientists to homeless to a lot of different people that are impacted. So we've got some coalitions working on that and really trying to make a difference within our mental health pieces. And we've got innovation hubs working with our partner agencies and educated financial spread health, but we're also expanding to other agencies that are not necessarily now are part of our United Way family. So we're excited about great things that are happening. The standard, which as I talked about, strategic plan, this is really holding us accountable. It's a living, breathing document that we're actually implementing as part of our board meetings every month. And we're going to see some success because we want to really make a difference in our community. So it's going to be 80 years in August, but we want to make sure we leave a legacy, make a difference in people's individuals and families' lives. So it's not just an organization, but trying to make a difference in people's lives.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know about the Rise United program. That is so big, especially in our area where the public transportation is not like it is in most big cities, and people struggle to get to a doctor's appointment or get to a job that, and man, that's going to solve so many help so many people with that. That's great you guys are doing. I'm gonna help spread the word on that because I didn't know about that one. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah, it's fortunate. And we're, with the transportation over the next 3 to 5 years, we're trying to figure out what's going to happen in our city. We've got a great city. I think we're growing, as you know, number one city in the country. And I want to make sure we continue to just be a part of the solution. We're fortunate that the Mayor Battle and Finley and folks in our area that are really investing into what we're trying to do, but also people like transportation department, like John Autry, who invites us to meetings, and we're involved in the process of getting these things done. And it's exciting to see those things happen. And we're part of the solution. That's a problem.
That's it. Yeah, more people need to do that, right? So you
Yes.
gave them the 5 R's. You guys saw a problem
Yeah.
and you got in there. So
Yeah.
Daniel, I really appreciate your friendship and I really appreciate what you're doing for our area and beyond. And just keep up the great work, man. You guys are doing so much important things. That I didn't even know the scope of everything you guys did. And I looked it up, and I encourage you guys too to look it up. All these areas that they're touching in our area and beyond. So keep up the great work. We're going to support you however we can.
Well, thank you. And if anybody can, we're a strong organization, but we always can be stronger. And as long as people that are in need, we always have our campaigns every year. So we always look for companies to get on board, individuals to get on board, to invest through us. One people say all the time is what the great part about giving to United Way is that you're giving to not necessarily just one organization, but you're able to spread the wealth to over 44 different agencies and partner agencies as well as programs to make a difference. And we're the kind of one-stop shop, and we'll make sure we're accountable for every single dollar that comes in. And so we have people that have invested us over these years. It's amazing, and we just want to continue to just make a difference in that area.
Absolutely. Hey, you guys, if you're listening right now, go check out everything they do, and I think you'll find yourself. Maybe I want to give a little money, or maybe my company does, or maybe I just want to come and do boots on the ground type stuff and help out. But there's a way that you can get involved, and I'm sure if you get with Daniel, he can put you to work for sure. So,
Yeah,
Daniel,
exactly.
keep up the great work. And if you guys have never met Daniel, I encourage you to somehow meet this guy. Your life will be better because he is
Oh,
just one of
thank
those
you.
people that he lights up a room and just got that quiet power when he walks in the room. And I'd heard it said one time that you don't have to be loud if what you got to say is important enough. People will listen, and that's who you are. You're not a loud, flashy kind of guy, but people listen. You're a great leader, and people want to follow you. So because I think they just see that light that you just want to help others, and they want to get on board with that. So, man, it's been great knowing you. And like I said, I'm gonna get this word out, especially about that ride program. I know so many people could benefit from that. But keep up that awesome work, and you guys share this episode with somebody. Maybe they need to hear this. Maybe they didn't know about what United Way does, or they want to get involved. And most of all, Daniel, thank you and appreciate you. And we were going to get you on board and get this thing rolling.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Joe. And I have no problem. My business cards, my cell phone is 256-468-1801. If they need to reach out to me directly, I'd be happy to help and support you in any kind of way. And Joe, once again, keep doing what you're doing. You're making a significant difference in our community and a lot of people's lives. And um, thank you for all you do.
Absolutely, man. You're like Deion Sanders. You ain't hard to find. So Daniel, he's not hard to find. All right. Appreciate you guys. Hey, we'll see you guys next week. Keep spreading the positivity.